What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 352 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course, viewable on YouTube Outside the Box podcast, proudly presented by Shootout For Soldiers. It's KP and Deej coming at you with a loaded episode. We got the NLL to break down from week 1. We've got games to preview for week 2. Deej and I are going to a wedding together. We got SpotifyWrapped to unpack. Our boy Grant Ament got that extendo
clip,
plus a whole lot more. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky. We're on everything. Deej is on Blue Sky now, so make sure you run it up and follow him over on Blue Sky. He'll be tagged in the episode when we tweet it out or Blue Sky it out, post
what
it.
What are we gonna call those? I don't want to call them posts. We gotta find something.
Yeah, something.
We gonna figure that out, people. If y'all got a name for that, drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah. But follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the pod on Apple and Spotify. We're gonna go through our Spotify Wrapped at the end of the show, like we do every single year. It's a ton of fun to kind of see the data and all the good stuff there. We went through it on Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's out by the time you guys are listening to this. And Deej, we were a top 10 show for the flagship program for 9 people. We were a top 5 show for 6 people, and we were the number 1 show for 3 people on Spotify this year. Turn up.
Let's go.
Hoots also gave everyone a little preview. We were his number 2 show this year. So
Gang.
shout out to the boy. We'll also hear from Hoots from the press conference with the Mammoth later on in the show. But follow us on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of this show every single week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We are at 877 subscribers right now. But yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Let's make that happen. It's so attainable. I can see it. Let's make that happen. youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. And this show is proudly presented by Shootout For Soldiers. Wall Ball for Warfighters was an extreme success across the board. And it's the month of December. Giving Tuesday just happened. And, you know, it's one of those times of the year where you want to give back to people that make an impact on you, and Shootout For Soldiers is the perfect opportunity to do that. You can still donate to Shootout For Soldiers year-round on their website, and they are bridging the gap, but I wouldn't even say it's a gap anymore, but bridging together community with lacrosse. It's 24 hours, one game, one goal. Their mission is to use lacrosse as a platform to support American veterans and foster community engagement. Shootout For Soldiers has raised over $5 million to date, with over 7,500 attendees and over 2,500 players in its existence. Get involved. They're partnered with USA Lacrosse, Pearl Lacrosse, the PLL, and obviously the show as well. They are truly the best, and there's some of the best people as well that are running the show with Eric, Alexis, and their whole crew. So check out how you can volunteer, register, and donate to Shootout For Soldiers by visiting their websites linked in the description, and get involved with one of the best just ongoing platforms for growing lacrosse and giving back to our nation's veterans with Shootout For Soldiers, the proud partner of the Outside the Box podcast. What's poppin', Deej? We got ourselves a loaded weekend this weekend for sure.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. I will once again get the joy of enjoying Sunday for what it is, since my Packers play on Thursday. So I'm not too worried about that. I'll be able to just vibe out and enjoy the roller coaster day that I'm sure we're going to go on. And then I'm excited to get, week 2 of NLL. I was busy this weekend, so I had to watch everything afterward, which I really hate doing because then I really feel like I can't tweet about it because everybody's already tweeted about it. And when I do, everybody just looks at me like, where have you
Huh?
been? Where have you been for the past 3 days? So
Right, Draggy?
I just didn't really, the only thing I really put out was like, so Toronto just didn't show up. Like,
Dude,
I literally was like, so they just gonna beat Toronto like that?
that game, I
Crazy.
mean, crazy. We'll get into last week's NLL breakdown here. It's brought to you by Tomahawk Shades. It's the best small batch eyewear in the game. Deej and I are going to be wearing our Tomahawk Shades this weekend. Deej, I took advantage of one of their Cyber Monday sales. Buy one, get 2 free. So I've got some new Tomahawk Shades coming. Hopefully they get here before this weekend. That would be very nice. Tomahawk Shade's been rocking with us for years now. They are truly the best small batch eyewear in the industry. 2 brothers on Long Island said, hey, let's shake up the eyewear industry and not make it so that you're paying $500, $600, $700, $800 exorbitant dollars for sunglasses, blue light glasses, prescription lenses. They are truly the best in the game. I'm always wearing the sunglasses when I'm out and about. Deej wears them when he's coaching. I wear the blue light glasses all the time, especially when I am editing shows, when I'm watching the NLL, the PLL, when I've been writing my newsletter as well. Just protecting my eyes. You got to make sure those eyes are protected. Visit tomahawkshades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store, Google Play Store. And when you go to checkout, use code USP. You get 25% off your next order with our friends at Tomahawk Shades. That's 25% off when you use code USP at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. Yeah, let's start there. Toronto and Ottawa. Ottawa was buzzing. Zach Higgins, I think, started the game 20 of 20 on save opportunities. Was absolutely insane. And I saw a lot of people with the discourse this week about the whole Zach Higgins trade with the Wings and was it a mistake for the Wings to trade Higgy? It's a win-win trade on both sides when you look at it. Like, Higgy's going to be great in Ottawa. The players that the Wings got back, plus that first-round draft pick in 2027, is ultra valuable. Win-win. But Ottawa came to play, and I was very stunned at just the lack of fluidity from Toronto's offense. Like, Tom Schreiber played in this game. He won't be available this week. We'll talk about that later in the show. But, man, missing your 2 key transition players in TD Ierlan and Challen Rogers in this game surely proved to be a huge loss for this team. And it wasn't that Nick Rose played poorly either in this one. Toronto's defense just was non-existent to start this game. They went 0 for 3 on the power play, did the Rock as well. Ottawa dominated the faceoff dot. They went 15 of 20, and Ottawa went 3 of 5 on the power play. They took advantage of those opportunities that were given to them for the most part. And when you have a welcome to Ottawa moment like Jacob Dunbar did and led the team in goals, he had a hat trick in this game, led the team in points, 6 total points. It was an overall awesome team performance from the Ottawa Black Bears in their first game in Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, the stadium filled up pretty well for their first game there. The black and red looks absolutely fantastic. I really like the way the jerseys looked on TV. I can imagine they looked even better in person. And they came out ready to play. That was kind of the question was, would they be able to, come out and show out in their, first game in the new digs? And they absolutely did. And they looked like they were ready to play and to compete at a high level all year. Like you said, Toronto kind of came out and the defense was like deer in headlights. They just weren't there. Like, Jacob Dunbar was insane all game.
Mm-hmm.
But like the beginning of the game, it's like they just chose not to see him. It was like they were playing 5-on-4 and he wasn't there, even though he was scoring and producing all these opportunities. Like you said, Nick Rose didn't play bad, but when you're not getting help from your defense in front, there's not much you can do there. And that's going to be a huge question mark when you look at what Toronto has missing on the other side of the ball. you can't go out and have defensive performances like you did against Ottawa, or you're going to find yourself in a lot of the losing side of a lot of 11-5, 12-4, it's 15-6 kind of games when you could easily be competitive if your defense just shows up because you have all the pieces and all the names, the guys that can be successful where you have them. They just weren't necessarily on their A game.
Yeah, and it was like almost the middle of the floor was non-existent. Like we said, Challen was out, TD was out, so you're not winning possessions. And when you're effectively giving 15 of 20 possessions to a team that has Jeff Teat, that has a team that to a team that has a Larson Sundown, to a team that has Connor Kiernan, and when you have Dunbar popping off the way that he did, it's a recipe for disaster. Riley O'Connor had 3 points in this game. Jacob Dunbar had 6 points. Jeff Teat, a quiet 5 points, if you will. He only had 1 goal, but he assisted 4. Kyle Matisse had 3 points in this game. Connor Kiernan had a hat trick and 2 assists. Like, you're giving away possessions to a team that has weapons offensively, and we talked about that in our season preview. Like, they have the goalie, they have these offensive weapons. If you give them opportunities, Ottawa's going to score. It's just a matter, can you keep up with them? A lot of their games we figured would be kind of, these barn burner type of games where it's going to be, 16-14, a lot of 15-13 situations that you're just going to have to play offense a lot against them. And to Ottawa's credit, Higgy was fantastic. I think he made 37 saves in this game, which is nuclear levels of Zach Higgins. And I know that from firsthand covering Higgy for the past couple of years. Like, he's capable of games like these. And to do that against Toronto is a huge testament to how good he is. And I mean, it doesn't get easier for Toronto this week. Like, they are missing guys all over the board, and you're going up against the Albany Firewolves, who are going to be hungry as all hell after losing in overtime last week. Rough go for the Toronto Rock to kind of look almost non-competitive for most of the game. You get shut out in the first half, and after that, you allow Ottawa to come out and put a 6-piece on you in the third quarter. It was a great game from Ottawa. They should be thrilled with their performance. This should be a performance that they build off of. And you just don't want to see Ottawa get complacent with a win like this, which I don't think they will. They have great people in that organization to help prevent that. They play. Do they play this week? No, they're off this week, but they come back next week at home against Buffalo. So we'll see how they pop off there. But I think it's a great statement win for your first win in franchise history as the Ottawa Black Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great statement win coming in and beating a team like Toronto and, showing the fans that you're there, you're back, and you want them to, show up and support you in your efforts to getting to the top of the league. And the roster showed that they are a roster that can play with the best of them. And I think that's the most important part for everybody that's involved. But I do want to jump over to the other game you mentioned, Albany and Saskatchewan. Like, that
One
ended up
last thing
being,
with Ottawa, though.
yeah.
Did you see Connor Kiernan walk in?
No.
His arrival photo, he had like a black bear pelt over his shoulder.
What?
Absolutely diabolical. I'll pull the picture up and send it to you now so you can see it. But yeah, that's how
No
he
way.
arrived. Like, what a statement of like, hey, we're here.
That's insanity.
I gotta find it. It was like, the arrival photos, typical like collage thing that every team
Yeah,
posts.
I'm about to start asking one of my coworkers to take arrival photos of me.
Here it is.
When I pull up to work, that's what I'd be thinking. I'm like, I'm walking into a game or something right now. Somebody needs to take a picture of me.
It is diabolical levels of just like, holy shit.
And
Everyone else, coffee and stick in hand. Meanwhile, Connor Kieran has just got a whole black bear pelt.
And obviously, I'm the drippiest person in the office. So, yeah, bro, this is sick. That's something I would do.
That's next level. Just diabolical. But yeah, shout out to Ottawa, and we'll see what happens with Toronto this week because half their roster's out, and we'll talk about that later. We'll quick hit here. Colorado, huge comeback win against Vancouver on Friday night as well. I
The
tweeted
energy
it.
was electric.
The energy was insane as the game progressed, and this is clearly a rivalry. It has been for years. You saw just the tenacity towards the end of the game when that fight broke out and everything. I liked the fight from Colorado where they were down 6-1 at halftime and they never quit. They never acted like it was 6-1 throughout this entire game. Alex Dathakis was great at the faceoff stripe for Vancouver in this one. Colorado drew a lot of penalties against Vancouver. They had 5 power play opportunities. Vancouver has 54 penalty minutes in this one.
Yeesh.
54 penalty minutes. I think some of them were after that fight as well because former Philadelphia wing Jackson Subak ended up with 39 penalty minutes in this game alone.
A lot of them came from that fight.
He led the league in penalty minutes last year, I think, with 46, and he's got 39 after game 1. Aiden Walsh was good for Vancouver. Dylan Ward really turned it on in that second half and got better as the game progressed.
Oh yeah, they gave him 3 game misconducts during that fight.
Yes.
And he got 2 minutes for being the instigator.
Yeah. That might be the funniest tag of a penalty ever.
Like
fighting, game misconduct, roughing, illegal, like instigator. Like that just has to be your nickname. Jackson Subak.
He's no longer Subak. He's just
the instigator.
The instigator.
The instigator.
I love
him. Owen Grant was awesome in this game for Vancouver. He had a hat trick as a defender. And I saw Nat St. Laurent tweeting about him and Ryan Lee, seeing both of them back, which was great. Who says the PLL doesn't care about the NLL? LOL haters. But overall, it was great seeing Ryan Lee back out on the floor. He scored in this game. I tweeted it during the game, though. The development of Connor Kelly as a box lacrosse player has been awesome to watch. He was with San Diego early on in his career, goes to the Riptide, doesn't really get too many opportunities, signs with Colorado and has found his spot. And he is such an integral part of this team. And the way that he plays alongside, Zed and Ryan Lee and Eli McLaughlin, and just seeing him evolve and seeing his game develop from a box lacrosse standpoint has been so fun to watch as an American player. He was dominant in this game. He had 4 goals, 3 assists, led the team in points, and Hoots got to talk to him after the game, and his little interview snippet was featured on the Mammoth socials as well. But this was Kelly after the game. And I think this is a testament to after the season that Colorado had last year, Deej, and it was very underwhelming from their standpoints, obviously. This I think is a great sign after week 1, seeing them battle back in the second half in this game. I think this is a good sign for what's to come from Colorado this year. But here's Hoots and Connor Kelly.
Last year, you guys struggled quite a bit offensively. Tonight, you guys, I think, had 6 goal scorers, or multiple point scorers, rather. You had a big night yourself. Maybe what changed from last year coming into this year, week 1, to give you guys such success tonight?
Yeah, I think a lot of it you learn from last year. And number one, I think we might have folded if it were last year. But I think we've been saying in training camp, this is a whole different group, a whole different team. And again, like the first half was a testament to us not playing together a ton. The second half was we made adjustments. Guys were willing to do something a little bit different, and we came through. But again, it starts with our amazing defense and Wardo and net. Like for us to get possession after possession, momentum, get the crowd involved, it's everything.
I think that's a great sign for what's to come, is like them recognizing, hey, we didn't have a full training camp together, but as the game progressed, we found some chemistry together with some guys that haven't played together at points. Obviously with Malcolm coming back for the first time in a couple of years when he was with Panther City, he gets 4 assists in this game. And I think that was a good role for him in this one, is to kind of just be a facilitator facilitator and use his skills to get the ball to other guys who have played together on this team the past couple of years. I thought it was a great performance by Colorado and a gutsy performance to come all the way back from being down by 5 at halftime and really putting on a show and end up with a 4-goal win.
Yeah, the big thing for me was the way that they were able to come back, and it really was, to me, due to the play of two guys on the defensive end of the floor. Like, yes, the offense came alive. Connor Kelly had 4 goals. They started to move things around on that side and really wake up and put goals in the back of the net. But if they weren't able to get the stand that they got from these two guys during the second half of the second quarter through the rest of the game, I don't think it would have been possible. Dylan Ward let a few that he probably shouldn't have had let through. He woke up and really started to make saves that we are used to him making. And Robert Hope took his time in directing the defense and being patient with everyone and saying, hey, we're in this game. We're fine. We have to keep doing the things that we want to do, force them to take the shots we want to take, and the offense will handle the rest. We just got to pick up ground balls and clear. And they picked up tons of he led the team with 9 loose balls. That's huge in a game.
Huge.
Especially in a game like this one. You got to pick up ground balls and be able to take care of the ball. The defense hunkered down when they needed to and ended possessions by picking up loose balls and clearing. I thought those two did an amazing job of keeping that backside, strong and in the game.
And it's always fun to see week one, a little tension, little feistiness. You see Molosky yapping at Dylan Ward, and then you see Colorado's entire bench just going back and forth. It was good cinema in that nightcap towards the end of that game. And I tweeted it too because Zed came in to kind of break up that fight, and I was like, I think a lot of people forget that Zed Williams went out to be a linebacker for Buffalo Bills this spring.
Yeah, homie was about to be in the NFL.
He was ready
real
to go.
Fast.
So good win for Colorado to start their season. Rochester wins against Las Vegas 14-12. What a game for so many of our guys. This game was so much fun to watch. It was back and forth the entire game. We said it from the jump that this game was going to be a ton of fun. Look at our leaders. Look at our boys. Look at how our boys popped out, Teach. 6 points for Donnie in his debut with Vegas. 10-point performance for Connor Fields. Ryan Smith had 5 goals in this game. This game is just utterly fun. And, obviously, if you're Vegas, you're disappointed that you don't win. Donnie had 6 assists in this game. Just absolute sicko dealing the ball all around. Jack Hanna, 6 points in this game, 4 goals, 2 assists. Kyle Killen had 2 goals and an assist. Shane Simpson with 2 goals. Casey Jackson with 2 and 2. This was a fun game. These two teams were very fun. There's a lot of similarities between them. And I think at the end of the day, Connor Fields is just that dude and was able to take over to have a 10-point game. Ryan Smith really popped off. And I mean, to just see Jack Hanna and Connor Fields kind of dueling each other out there, even in a loss, this is the crazy part. Landon Kells obviously gave up 14 goals in this game, but Deech, he had 58 saves.
That's actually crazy.
Both goalies had 50-plus saves. Riley Hutchcraft had 50. Landon Kells had 58. Unbelievable performance goalie-wise that this only ended up being 14-12.
Wait, the game only. I wasn't paying that much attention to the trend of the game. I know that's so weird to say, but for those of you that
very even.
For those of you that weren't paying attention earlier, I missed all this weekend doing stuff. So I had to go back and rewatch the games later. It's so hard to really watch a game when you're watching afterward because you're not trying to you already know the results and everything, so you're trying to look at it through an objective lens as if you don't. And those kind of things get lost when you're trying to look at it that way because you're trying to be okay, yeah, I know it ended 14-12, but who scored and when did they? And it's almost the stuff that's coming up next. So it's hard. You lose a lot of things, and that's something I lost was how good this game was and the fact that both sides were producing at such a high manner that it elevated all of the game on the gameplay on the floor, including the guys in pipes. Like, for a moment in this game, it seemed like the offense wasn't taking good shots because of how good the goalies were being. But then when you put that in perspective, you look at the shots that they were creating off of those opportunities. They were great shots. The goalies were just out of their mind. And I really hate that I wasn't able to see that because of the way I was watching the game. But this easily was one of the best games of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean they were pretty close at the faceoff dot. Vegas won 16 of 29. Rochester wins 13 of 29. Power play wise, Vegas goes 4 of 7 on the power play. Rochester goes 3 of 4. And it was tied up at halftime. It was 7-7 at halftime. 2-2 after the first. Both teams scored 5 in the second, and then Rochester just had a little bit of juice to win both the third and the fourth quarter by 1 goal apiece, and that's inevitably where it boiled down to. But very fun game. If you're Vegas, I'm not like hanging your head on this one. This was just a matter of fact that Ryan Smith and Connor Fields were nuclear in this game. You had guys pop off as well in Jack Hanna and Jonathan Donville that this game you should not feel bad about. Obviously, it sucks to lose a game like this, but I think this is a good sign for where Vegas's offense is going. You can rely on your goal to make clutch saves for you, and to have Landon Kells come away with 58 saves in a game where you give up 14 is huge. So if I'm Vegas, I'm feeling okay. I'm not obviously satisfied with the result, but I feel okay going into their next game against Colorado, knowing that their offense pound for pound can go up with some of the big dogs.
Oh yeah, their offense looks poised to have an amazing year at the fact that they were able to answer so consistently. Like, they every time Rochester scored, they were right there giving something back. And Rochester was the same way. Every time it seemed like Vegas was getting some kind of momentum, Rochester was there to steal it back. And that's the kind of lacrosse you want to see happening just around the league. But for Vegas, it's that point that Rochester was a playoff team last year. It was a team that you did not beat last year, and you were down 2. You were tied in this game multiple times. You were right there and easily could have taken this game away from them. That's something to look at to boost yourself up forward. Like, hey, we are competing with playoff teams, which means we can be a playoff team. Let's hone in on a few things that allowed that game to slip away from us. And now we're talking about winning those games and being a playoff team, which I think that's huge for Vegas and where they're trying to go as an organization.
100%. So kudos to both teams. They played one hell of a game. Ended up being the game of the week, in my opinion. Across the board, and just the fluidity of it. They were so much fun to watch. And at the same time, another back and forth game that went to overtime was Saskatchewan and Albany. Saskatchewan comes away with a clutch overtime win against the Young Guns in Albany. Alex Simmons, 7 points in this game. Brock Haley leads the way for Saskatchewan with 5 points. Zach Mans led the team in goals with 4. Robert Church led the team in assists with 4. It's very rare that you see a guy lead the team in points, but he's not the leader in goals or assists. But that's exactly what Mr. Brock Haley did. He had 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points total. Austin Shanks, the winner of the week, wins this game in overtime in his first game for Saskatchewan, had a 4-point performance. This is a great win if you're the Rush, like to come away, on the road against Albany, a team that is trending upwards and building something special. Saskatchewan's like, hey, we're doing the same thing. Like, don't discredit what we're doing. And they popped off, played good defense, and they were able to kind of corral a 7-point performance from Alex Simmons. Dyson Williams had 1-1 in this game. Ty Kurtz had a goal and 2 assists in this game. But the Albany offense just didn't have enough diversity in terms of spreading the ball around across the board to have the contributions they needed to win this one. And that's a testament to the way that, Saskatchewan played across the board. Good win for them to start the year. And if you're Albany, I don't think you put too much stock in this loss. It's week 1. But I do think you need to just look at the ball movement and assess getting more guys involved in terms of just passes. And, Ethan Walker had 4 points in this game. That's a good sign from him. But you look at the stats, like Albany had 58 shots on goal to Saskatchewan's 53. Joe Nardella dominated the stripe, 16 for 23. It's the power play opportunities. Like, Saskatchewan went 2 of 8 on the power play. Like, they could have had more goals in this game if they took advantage there. They went 25%, and Albany goes 3 of 7 on the power play. It was just a gritty game back and forth, and it came down to overtime, and that's obviously first goal wins. So good on Saskatchewan to win and take Albany all the way to overtime and come out on top.
Yeah, I think this was a huge win for Saskatchewan, being able to come out and get a win early in the season on the road all the way across the continent. When you think about it, they're traveling so far to get this first win against a team that was just in the NLL championship game or round and just re-upped on their lease in their building. Their fans are excited for them to be there. They have the number 1 draft pick from last year's draft. And all you got is a team that's been trying to get back to where they have been. And it almost feels like one of those teams that's chasing their own ghost. I don't think they're doing that anymore. It looked like they kind of let that go. Like, we're not that Saskatchewan Rush team, so we're not going to try to be that. We're going to be ourselves and just play lacrosse and go out there and do what it is that we are trying to do. And they were successful in doing that and drawing this. You could see that their ideology behind and philosophy behind the season this year is keep games close, keep games dirty. We have Frank Skiggs back there. He's going to make saves for us. We just have to count. We have to score goals when it counts. And that's what they did last weekend. It led them to a victory. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Saskatchewan in this same kind of scenario throughout the rest of the season.
Deej, we have a little when it comes to a big lacrosse fan. I don't know if you just got this notification on your phone too, but a developing story. Bill Belichick has interviewed with North Carolina officials about the school's head coach opening.
But like for lacrosse?
Football.
We don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
We don't. I thought he was going to come over to the real game.
Man.
I was about to be like, wait, hold on. North Carolina has an open head coaching job? I was like, I didn't know that.
Last game here in the wrap-up, it's brought to you by our friends over at Buff. Buff is truly going to come up clutch for us this season in terms of keeping our faces protected from the elements. DJ, we're talking about how you guys got snow today. You need Buff to make sure you're well protected. Their holiday shopping guide is still available for all terrains, whether you're going out hiking, protecting yourself from the snow, and of course, when the summertime rolls around, protecting your head and your face from the heat and wind and all of that. Use our link in the description to shop this holiday season and check out that Survivor collection as well. The official headwear and neckwear of Survivor is Buff. So check out Buff this holiday season and shop for your favorite people to make sure they're protected from the elements no matter what they are putting their minds to. Last game here, Deej, it was an absolute barn burner, the over of the century. The San Diego Seals, Philadelphia Wings. Seals win it 18-15. Early on, though, Wings had an 8-4 lead after the first. San Diego crawls all the way back. It's 11-9 at halftime. And then they almost go blow for blow in the second half. San Diego outscored the Wings by 1 in the third, and then they tied in the fourth, 3 apiece. And that's where it came down to. The biggest thing here for me as a Wings fan, as somebody who covers this team, there's a lot of positives to take away from this game. Obviously, very similar to Vegas. It's not the result you want when you play so well early on. But my takeaways here, the Wings were efficient with their shots. They scored 15 goals on 46 shots on goal. They were great at the face-off stripe. Obviously, Trevor was not playing in this game, but kudos to Danny Logan. He was sensational. I think he won 17 of the 37 faceoffs for San Diego. The Wings won 18 of 37 in this one. They won the penalty minutes battle. The Wings had 14 to San Diego 17. I think one of the big swings here, Deej, The Wings had 5 power play opportunities. They went 4 of 5 on the power play, which is a good sign. 80%, that's damn good. The big takeaway is the missed opportunity. It was a 5-minute major that the Seals were able to kill off, and I think they're stunned a lot of momentum for the Wings offensively, and they were trying to kind of figure themselves out from there. The other negative takeaway is when you go up 8-4 in the first, you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. The Wings only mustered up 1 goal in that second quarter and allowed 7 to San Diego in that second quarter. You have to be able to keep your foot on the gas pedal offensively. Even, say you keep that same pace, but you drop off a little bit and you score 5 goals in that second or 4 goals. You're keeping it super close, and then the momentum continues to go in your favor. But you can't only put up a 1 piece in the second quarter and allow 7 after you just won the first quarter 8-4. It's a recipe for disaster against a team like San Diego. Holden Cattoni had a first quarter hat trick in this game for the Wings. Mitch Jones led the team in points with 8. Brendan O'Neill's first career NLL goal was an absolute hammer shot. It was textbook Brendan O'Neill. He had 4 points in his debut. I think that's an awesome sign from him. Nick Demude had 34 saves in this game, gave up 17 goals. The Wings did bring in Deacon Knott late in the game. I think he played in 8 minutes, did not give up a goal, had 6 saves. One of the goals that San Diego scored was empty netter. But to me, I like what I saw from the Wings offensively, especially after last year. And I did a little bit of research after the game, too. I was curious because 15 goals, it's not something we saw a lot from the Wings last year. Last year, the Wings scored 16 goals twice in a game. Everything else was far less than that. I think the most they scored was 13, and that was their first game of the year. So everything else was, 12 or less last year. That, to me, is a positive sign for where the offense is trending, is that they're creating opportunities, they're getting guys involved, and they're scoring with those opportunities. So I like what I saw from the Wings offense. Got to clean some things up defensively. I know you brought in some guys late in training camp, and it's a lot of guys playing together. And we talked about that when we previewed the Wings, is just the chemistry together of bringing the Panther City guys together with the guys who have been on the Wings and them meshing together in front of a new goalie. It's going to take a little bit of time, but to me, to see the offensive production, to have a 6-point game from Holden Cattoni and have him healthy, to have Scott Dominy with 2 points, that were 2 goals he scored, to have, Joey Rez have 5 points in this game, to have Mitch Jones with an 8-piece in the opener, Brendan O'Neill contributing 4 points, and 3 of those being assists. I think that's big for his game individually and for this team. And then a short stint, but Callum Crawford had 5 points in this game, and he has since been released by the team, which we'll talk about a little bit. But overall, offensively, I'm very happy with how the Wings performed in this game. It's just a matter of cleaning things up, being more efficient defensively, and not forcing Nick Demude to be the overall savior of your defense at the end of the day.
Yeah, I thought this game undersold for me a little bit. Maybe based upon what I was expecting out of the game. I kind of wanted a little bit more there. It still was a very good game, and there was action on both sides of the ball. Both teams were flashing the best of what they have to come this year, but it was like I kind of expected this to be that blockbuster Colorado, Vancouver, Rochester, Vegas vibe and feeling, and it like didn't have that for me. And maybe it's because I watched it after everyone else, so I didn't have that extra buzz of everyone, talking about it and being in that mix. But it just it seems like these teams do have a little bit more to put out. And the main piece was the piece that I thought was going to be the reason why the Wings would drop this game is that defensive piece. Like, as much as chemistry matters on the offensive end, to me, it matters so much more on defense because you're already behind the 8 ball. The offense is mostly in control of the game. So if you don't know exactly where your guy is going to be and how he likes his peanut butter spread on his toast when he has breakfast, you're not going to do well on defense. Like, you got to know that guy better than he knows himself. And those are things that will take, and you can see that it's not going to take long. It'll only take a few weeks. but all of that matters when you're playing games. And if you aren't already at that point, some things are going to fall through the cracks. And that's what you saw with that Philly defense on a handful of possessions that led to San Diego eventually pulling away with this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most Texas analogy you've ever made in your life. You sound like Sandy Cheeks there. If you don't know how they like their peanut butter spread on their toast, I'll tell you what, SpongeBob.
That was pretty raunchy.
And it was the big dogs that showed up for San Diego in this game. It was all their new acquisitions on offense. Rob Hellier, 3-3. It was the Ryan Bennett show. He had 9 points in this game, 5 goals, 4 assists. Had no answer for him. He has always been a thorn in our side. And Ben McIntosh in his first game against the Wings since signing with the Seals, 4 goals, 2 assists. And Westberg had 5 points in this game as well. So overall, I'm not mad. I'm not even really that disappointed. I just want to see a little more fluidity across the board, see that defense continue to mesh, and just not see you go cold for a quarter and that lead your demise. And I think if Blaze was sitting here with us right now, he would say the same thing. He wanted to be more involved. He only had 1 goal in this game. Granted, it was a clutch goal. It tied the game at 12, I want to say, at that point. But I think you want to see more from your captain getting involved and kind of getting those dirtier, grittier goals for you. And since this game is happening, Callum Crawford's been released. 5-point performance, I guess, was not good enough. Just kidding there. But the quote from GM Paul Day that Adam Levy, our friend, broke the news last night, read a little something like this. I wanted to get your perspective on this as a coach too. Like, I understand overall the message here per se with it. It's just unfortunate that it didn't overall work out, but Callum Crawford got released. Where is the quote here? All this other stuff that Adam has retweeted. Adam, you're too active. Just kidding. Paul Day's statement here. He was a great teammate and helped the younger guys, but we have a right and left who will handle the ball most of the time, and we need more off-ball players. And Sam LeClaire and Phil Puto are naturals at those positions.
Okay, the best way to put this is the Cannons trade for Cav. They are moving a guy that has a specific skill set where they already have a guy better than him, or maybe not even better than him, but a guy that they like at that position more than if they were to move him there. So they're moving him to a place to where he can be better and they can still be advantageous. That's pretty much what happened here with Callum. Is they're like, look, you're great at what you do. We would love to have that here, but we already have that here with these guys that we like and are a integral part and key piece to our foundation of our team. Not that you're a bad player, not that you don't belong here, not that you aren't good enough to be here. You don't help us get better with your skill set. That is why we're stepping away from you. We're looking to go get someone that is going to complement these guys, not be the same as these guys. And that's what it was, is they already had a couple of Callum Crawford-like players on their team. They need somebody who is going to complement and accent that well, instead of having 3 or 4 of the same guy on the floor at the same time.
And people want to complain just to complain about Paul Day, and I just don't get it. You and I have had our amazing interactions and sit downs with Paul Day. I've had a couple more, obviously, with covering the team and everything. People just want to complain at this point, I think, about Paul. And Adam also tweeted this. He said, Philadelphia Wings fans, trust the process. If you're upset about Paul Day's decision to release Callum Crawford, it's important to remember that less than 3 months ago, Paul Day brought Brennan O'Neill to your team. That only happens because of March 2024 trade with the Black Bears, then Riptide, that Paul Day initiated. 100%. Like, people forget that, like, Paul Day's a fucking awesome GM in this league and knows how to wheel and deal, and This team has talent on it, and we saw this team with so much talent on it last year get cluttered because you couldn't get everyone opportunities. It's week 1, guys, and the offense already looks infinitely better. And I think you would even say that, Deej, watching it on replay, that the offense looked infinitely better than anything we saw from the Wings last year on offense.
Yeah, they look a lot better. Just the flow of the offense, the movement of the guys, how they interact with each other, the excitement to be out on the floor, and the opportunities they're creating are far better and at a much higher clip than what we saw from them a year before. I don't think there was a single time. Well, I won't say a single time. It was far less that I found myself saying, "What the fuck were the Wings doing on offense there?"
Mm-hmm.
Watching that game Sunday, or I guess I watched Monday or Tuesday, than what I did last year. It seemed like 15, 20 times a game, it was, what the hell was that?
Mm-hmm.
What are the Wings doing? Like, that's all you have for offense? And, like, this year it was, wow, that was a good shot. That was a good set. I like what they did there. I love the pick and roll on that side. And, like, there were good pieces about their offense the entire night.
And there's still going to be growing pains, but guess what? Brendan O'Neill looks pretty fucking good playing box lacrosse.
Yeah, he looks fine. It just looks like he's playing lacrosse, and that's the good thing about lacrosse is it's the same all the way around. Like, there's some small intricate, differences, but those intricacies don't really change the game at heart.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him make that same sweep dodge to his left and shoot 1,000 times on the field. So why would it be any different in the box? The only reason it's different is because the net's about 2 feet shorter, a couple feet skinnier, and there's a bigger goalie in it.
Yeah.
But
And
none
he's
of that
still
phases.
throwing hammers like he's fucking Thor.
Yeah, none of that's gonna phase him. He's gonna put it where it should, and boom. Like, he's playing lacrosse just in a smaller environment, which will make him better because his stick skills have to be just a tad bit better in that tighter environment to be good. So yes,
And
he's
his
gonna do
physical
just fine.
presence out there was awesome. So I'm super excited, and I get to see him next week because the Wings have an off week this week, and then they play Saturday, December 14th, 6 p.m. at home against the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. But that is the wrap up there for week 1, and this is the standings right now as we head into week 2. Ottawa at the top, 1-0, as are the Mammoth, the Seals, the Nighthawks, and the Rush. Bandits, Calgary, Georgia, Halifax have yet to play, and then the Firewolves, Desert Dogs, Wings, Warriors, and Rock are all 0-1. Deej, let's head to week 2 of the NLL, but before we do, a little word from our friends at Paramount Plus. Deej, I know you're always looking for shows to binge. You're on your Survivor kick, obviously, but guess what? Paramount Plus has a thing that I think a lot of people are excited for, and that is the new revival season of Dexter, and that's Dexter Original Sin, coming to Paramount Plus on December 13th.
You're a cap right now.
I'm serious, Deej, and guess what? We've got a trailer for the people to showcase as well. But before we show that trailer, I have a little word here. Witness the beginning as Dexter's darkness first comes to light in Dexter Original Sin, streaming December 13th with the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan. With his bloodthirsty urges, when his bloodthirsty urges can't be ignored any longer, young Dexter Morgan must learn to channel his inner darkness as he transitions from student to avenging serial killer with the guidance of his father, Harry. And Deej, guess what? We have a trailer to show to the people. So here's the trailer for Dexter Original Sin, streaming December 13th on Paramount Plus with Showtime. I love your face reaction there to that. So here we go.
I am a killer, but I wasn't born this way. I was made by my history, by the people around me. They say it takes a village to raise a killer.
I can get my satisfaction.
Bruh. I can't wait.
Dexter Original Sin streaming December 13th with the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan. Use our link in the description to sign up for Paramount Plus with Showtime so that you can stream Dexter Original Sin with the Paramount Plus and Showtime plan streaming December 13th.
That's going to be so sick. That's going to be so sick. Oh my God. I'm low-key a huge Dexter fan. A lot of people don't know that because like I don't think I should be telling people that I liked, a serial killer binge-worthy TV show. So I just don't really talk about it, but now everybody knows I'm a Dexter-loving maniac.
There it is. Dexter Original Sin, December 13th on Paramount Plus. The NLL Week 2 is here, Deej. And we've got 5 games on deck. Colorado at Las Vegas at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. And then Saturday, 5 Eastern Time, your Calgary Roughnecks get their campaign going in Halifax to take on the Thunderbirds. Buffalo at Rochester at 7 Eastern on Saturday. Also at 7 Eastern, Albany at Toronto. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, it is the San Diego Seals taking on Lyle Thompson, Shane Jackson, Andrew Q, and the Georgia Swarm. Where do we want to start here? What are we looking most forward to? Well, I think we should start with the Toronto Rock. Half their roster is out. Not ideal. Not ideal in any situation for your team this early in the season as well to be missing guys to this magnitude. But the Toronto Rock tweeted a roster update. They've placed Latrell Harris and Tom Schreiber on the injured reserve list with lower body injuries. Both are out week to week. Zach Kearney has been placed on the active roster from IR, and Marley Angus to active from the practice roster. So now, this week, Toronto will be without so many of their key players. Tom Schreiber, Challen Rogers, Brad Cree, Latrell Harris, and TD Ierlan all out this week against Albany. Number one, best wishes to Tom and Treasy. We hate seeing their names on those injury lists. But this sucks, especially this early in the season, to see 5 players with that stature and magnitude out for a team that has championship aspirations to not have those guys. And on top of that, you're coming off of a 5-goal performance in your season opener against Ottawa. Not the ideal way to kick off your home schedule.
It's more than just not ideal. Like that hurts. That hurts. This is going to be rough for them to come back from, because not only did you lose the game last week on the road to what is now going to be a new bitter rival, not just because you lost, but because Ottawa and Toronto just have beef in general. You're going to turn around and you have to play Albany, who is one of the hottest teams in the league, just in general, one of the better teams over the last couple of years. They look young, and they're coming off a loss that they feel they shouldn't have lost in the first place, and half your roster ain't playing. It don't sound good at all. But you know what I'm finna say? That don't mean they can't win this game.
It's valid. They still have talent.
That does not mean they can't win this game. They have tons of talent. They have a great coach. And they have the mindset of being professional athletes, understanding that the game still has to be played, and that if they go out.
Can you run that back? They have the mindset of what, Deej? Being what?
Hold on. This thing on? Oh, yeah, I can hear myself. It's working. Paging certain individuals. They have the mindset of professional. 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 I do know how to spell. Professional athletes.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Professional athletes, right? Professional
athletes. They know the game still has to be played.
Roger that.
And they got to go out and play the game. And if they're able to manage the game, if this is not an up and down game, if this is a game that is 1.5 court set, is this a game where they're able to force them to take the shots they want to take? Is this a game where they are able to win the loose ball battle? Are they able to do anything with Joe Nardella at the face-off stripe? those are the important pieces they have to grab onto, not necessarily who's wearing the jersey, but how the person in the jersey responds and plays. Because Michigan just beat Ohio State this last weekend, and let me tell you, it's a very similar situation. Best tight end not playing. We ain't even have a quality quarterback on the roster. Multiple O linemen have been hurt all year. The best cornerback in the country didn't play. Coming in the year, barely bowl eligible in this game. 23-point underdog. They come out on top by 3. Don't tell me that any team can't win a game. It's a matter of how they go out and manage it and play. And that's what we're going to find out with, this weekend.
100%. I'm looking forward to this Colorado and Vegas game on Friday night. I think that's going to be absolute scenes. I think both of these offenses are going to be a ton of fun to watch go toe-to-toe with one another. It's in Vegas in their new arena, which is going to be really fun to see how that packs out. I think Calgary and Halifax is going to be an interesting matchup too. There's so many questions about just the construction of Calgary's roster, which you bring back 2 franchise legends who are going to score for you. Jesse King is in the mix as well. So it's not like there's not offensive firepower. It's just a matter of goaltending, holding it down against Halifax's offense. But I think justifiably so, there's still questions about Halifax and just their entire roster makeup. Little revenge game for Thomas Hogarth in this one too. But I'm excited for that game. Halifax is always a fun environment to watch on TV as well. I can only imagine what it's like in person. And then we get the ownership rivalry between Buffalo and Rochester.
Yeah,
great start for our League Pass team this year, by the way.
Fantastic start for the League Pass team. Thank you. We needed that. But truly, this game is going to be fun. We saw what Rochester had last weekend. We saw them able to fight off a team that is hungry to prove that they are one of the competitive teams in this league. They dug deep at the end of the game, came out with very key stops, very key loose balls, very key goals. They did a great job of managing the clock and themselves in that game. These are all very important parts of playing in the NLL. Rochester did a great job of that last week. But at the end of the day, the day gonna end. No, I'm just playing. At the end of the day, they're bringing in the two-time, back-to-back. Not just they won it twice. No, this is 2-time, like they did it 2 times in a row. NLL champions into their house, into the net. Oh, no, not the nest because the wrong team. Into their house. You got to win that game. You got to come out tough. You got to be ready to do all those things you did last week, but at an even higher level because Buffalo's going to come into play. They're rested. They're ready. I can't imagine being a team that has a bye week 1. You watching, the other games like, I just want to play. I want to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I would have did this if I was right there. I would have took that shot. I would have hit him. I would have scooped up that loose ball and looked up and did this and that. Guys are eager to do it, and Buffalo is one of those teams that has so much energy. They're like, it's bursting out of them almost at this point. They're giddy to get back out there. This is going to be a great game, especially if Rochester shows up with the squad that they put out there last week.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think the nightcap on Saturday, that 8:00 game is going to be fireworks. That San Diego offense going up against this Georgia offense. You got Origlieri versus Dobson. Like, that's I'm going to be sat for that one. That's going to be electric to listen to as we're driving to Steve's wedding.
Yeah, I'm really hyped to have that one pulled up on my phone. I have a hotspot, which I didn't know, which I might put on my laptop so I can watch the game on the laptop while we're driving, give you all the updates, all the good jazz. But yes, I'm really pumped for that. I think Colorado and Vegas is going to be great. Vegas still hungry for that first win this year, ready to, continue to prove that they're a competitive team that fights for the playoffs, while Colorado had the most electrifying win of the week. Crawling back in that game from 6-1 and having the Loud House explode behind them in the way they did. They're going on a short road trip this week, but it's a way for them to kind of prove to their fans and themselves that last year was a fluke. It was a one-off. We are still that very good team that is going to make the playoffs and fight to be in the NLL championship. So I really like what that matchup has to offer. And obviously, the game of the week for me, my boys are suiting up week 1 for the first, week 2, first time, game 1, suiting up. Homies are back in town, so I'm excited for that. And I'm just ready to see the grayscale back on the floor. Wish it was the teal turf, but we'll take game 1 being on the road. I just would love for them to splash some red back in the jersey.
I will.
Nonetheless,
Speaking of that, seeing the red on the Ottawa jerseys, it was a welcomed addition. A welcomed addition back to the league.
Now, do I miss the seafoam? Yes.
Yes.
But the red looked fantastic.
See, here's what Calgary can do. If you're going to have that teal turf, implement it into your road jersey.
I could be here for that.
Obviously, it's not going to look. It wouldn't look great on a home floor with teal turf, but implement a little color splash to your road jersey. Then let's eliminate this grayscaleness and this darkness of 1930s TV from the NLL.
Hey, grayscale ain't all that bad. All right,
yeah, but there's too much
that bad. I agree. This is why I said we need that splash of red back. We ain't got to throw a lot. Just a little. Hey, y'all looking? Just a little splash. Just a little splash. Literally, you can just
beat the devil out of it.
take that real thick paintbrush they be using, drop it in there, and just little chunk of slaps. Hey.
Little Van Gogh tip.
But yeah, no, I'm obviously excited for that game. And anytime you play Halifax in the Nest, it's going to be a fun game, a loud game, an energized game. So I will be set and very excited to be watching that one. Looking at the time. Oh, that's disgusting.
It's that Halifax start time.
Nah, bro, it's not it. I'm going to be just getting off the plane. The game's going to have already started by the time I get off the plane. So great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Without any further ado, let's head on over to the pick pond and feed some ducks and get you all set for our week 2 NLL picks of the week. Brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories. There's just 8 grams of carbs. And guess what, Deej? Kenwood is doing everyone a favor this holiday season that are in the tri-state area. And by the tri-state area, I mean Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Because if you go to the Kenwood Beer storefront this holiday season, you can get beer delivered to your home. Give the gift of beer this holiday season. For December only, we are offering home delivery to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware residents. They can't guarantee a delivery date, but if you order before December 18th, there's a good chance it arrives before Christmas Day. It's available in 6-pack 12-ounce cans, 12-pack 12-ounce cans, and 12-pack 19.2-ounce cans, a.k.a. the Big Kennies. Go to kenwoodbeer.com or get beer delivered to your home this holiday season. Order before December 18th to get it before Christmas potentially, and use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in your area or in your local liquor stores in those areas, as well as Maryland, but Maryland not part of the beer delivery system. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, we start on Friday night, 10:30 Eastern, Colorado, Las Vegas, in Vegas. How we see this one going down?
I really like Vegas and what they're bringing to the the game right now and the excitement. They played very well last week on the road. They're traveling back home. I think fans are going to be excited to see them again. I think they're going to be excited to be playing back in Vegas. But I think Colorado is going to be on a tear. When you win a game like you did the year before, when people are counting on you to be well, when you know where you feel you should be as a team, and you get the opportunity to, crawl back and beat Vancouver, then you have what a lot of people will feel is a favorable matchup against Vegas right after that. And you know, the next week you play San Diego. You want 2 wins heading into that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have enough to win this week, and then they're setting up for a blockbuster matchup with themselves, with possibly an undefeated matchup on the line with San Diego.
Yeah, I'm going Colorado as well. I like what I saw, full body of work, top to bottom from them. Still a bit of a question about Vegas's defense. David Brock was placed on the suspended list this week, so there's going to be a lot of guys that are out for them defensively, and that's not what you want to see when you're going up against this Colorado offense. So I will go with the Mammoth as well. Calgary and Halifax. You ride with the boys, Deej? Is it Calgary's game to steal on the road, or is it still too early in the season to tell?
It's too early in the season for me to say I shouldn't be riding with them. Go next, baby. It's that simple. We got the boys back. Hold on. The boys are back in town. Yeah, we gonna win. Yeah, we gonna win. Hey, come on. You expect me to say something different?
I'm going with Halifax. The home field advantage plays a part for me, and just the goaltender matchup plays a part for me. And you picked the Seals to beat the Wings last week, so I'm just returning the favor. So I'm going Halifax.
You're an op. That's why.
Yeah, we'll see. We might be in the same boat talking next week. So we might be in the same boat as soon as you get off the plane. We go to the ownership battle, Buffalo at Rochester. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people are giving it credit for, especially the way that Ryan Smith and Connor Fields played last week. I think that was a battle of a game that Rochester played last week, and I do think them having a game under their belt helps them for this matchup. And with that, I'm going to rock with our League Pass team. I'm going to take the Nighthawks to get the upset win at home against Buffalo.
You know, I was very convinced I was going to pick Buffalo for this game. You know, they're defending champs 2 times. They ain't really lost nobody. Pretty much everybody's coming back. They're ready to do it again. Yeah, Josh Byrne, Dane Smith, Matt Vince. The list goes on and on. No, I'm not trying to talk myself into picking Buffalo. Because you're right. Having a game under the belt helps. This game being at home helps. Ryan Smith and Connor Fields help. I'm going to do the thing, the right thing, and pick the Buffalo Night. No, I'm just kidding. The Rochester Nighthawks.
We have Albany and Toronto. I think just based on player availability alone, we are on the same page in this one, and we are both going with Albany on the road to get a dub and their first of the season.
I'm literally only picking Albany based off the fact that I could probably put on a Toronto Rock jersey right now and go play because they don't have anyone available. Not because I'm good enough, but because they need bodies.
Well, they don't want to pay guys like professional athletes, so they might pay you under scale and try to get you to come play. So you never know.
Hey, the bodies have hit the floor. That's what I do now.
We move to the final game of the weekend, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, San Diego at Georgia. How do we feel about this one, DJ? Battle of Titans.
I think San Diego has just too much on the offensive side. I think Georgia's defense is solid. I think that they have a good transition game, and obviously Brett Thompson is great between the pipes. But, I mean, it seems like every time you're done naming names for San Diego, somebody goes, oh, wait, don't forget about that guy. Like, there's always another guy to go to. And defensively, as much as I would love to say it, there isn't a team in the league that always has another guy on the defensive end to pick up that guy that you're throwing out there now. Mm-hmm. They just don't. And I think that's what it comes down to, is the fact that they're going to have tons of opportunities based off of how good they are as a team.
100%. I'm with you. I'm going San Diego to get the dub here against Georgia. So our picks officially, we both have Colorado. I have Halifax. You have Calgary. We both have Rochester. Both have Albany, and we both have San Diego. And those are your NLL Week 2 picks of the week, powered by Kenwood Beer. Go and order beer this holiday season from Kenwood Beer at the Kenwood Beer storefront. Deej, couple of news and notes here. The Utah Archers have re-signed the boy, Grant Ament, through 2027. Shout out to him getting the bag. And the Whipsnakes have signed a few guys, most notably Will Mark back with the team for Champ Series. So some big signings there as those will continue to trickle in. And our guy Hayden, that is the Carolina Chaos beat writer, put out a tweet, I think today or late yesterday, that there are some rumors afoot that Zach Gett is on the table to get an extension sooner rather than later. So we could see that coming down the pipe soon.
I mean, all of these moves are great moves. And the smart moves make sense moves. These are all pieces that were integral in these teams. Checks notes that all made the playoffs last year. So bringing back the pieces that are familiar with your system, were successful in that system, and are young, are going to be helpful in your success over the next couple of years. So not surprised to see anybody get their rightfully deserved bag, and for those teams to lock in those guys that they're expecting to be a part of their foundation for, the next couple of years, if not longer.
100%. So looking forward to the crazy and wild west that is NLL free agency, or PLL free agency, I should say,
Yes,
that is
PLL.
upcoming. But Deej, we have one last thing, and it's Spotify Wrapped season. We love Spotify Wrapped at this company. It's always so much fun to kind of just go through the details and see. I love seeing when people post their Spotify Wrapped or their Apple Music Rewind. I think it's one of the coolest things that these companies do to put out just like the curation of what your year was in music, in podcasts, and in just content you're consuming. So we have our Spotify Wrapped here for the podcast. I'm not going to share it on screen because it lags like crazy because of all the motion graphics that Spotify has for this. But here's our Spotify Wrapped, DJ. Are you ready to break it down?
Put it on me. Whoa.
I'm gonna
Pause.
pull this up here. I might have to pull it up on my phone because that's what I had to do last night when we were doing the main podcast. So let's see here. Spotify Wrapped. Pulling it up here. Switching to OTB. Here we go. Spotify Wrapped for 2024 for the Outside the Box podcast as it loads up. Shout out to everybody that listens to the pod, though. We love seeing these numbers every single year and just seeing how we've grown year over year. It's so much fun to take a look at the year in review. And I'm excited to see what the most listened to episode was this year. Oddly, you know what's funny? The most listened to episode of the main pod was Mother's Day with CFO Margie.
I don't think that's odd at all.
Right. So here we go. Spotify Wrapped for OTB. We took it to a whole new level this year, according to Spotify. We gained 53% in listeners. We gained 81% in streams. And we gained 31% in followers. So shout out to OTB Nation pulling up on Spotify this year. And here's the fun part, Deej. 66% of our listeners discovered us this year. 2/3 of our listeners are brand new in 2024. Our top episode 316. Shout out to Maryland. The PLL pipeline joins OTB, and Ryder Garnsey officially back. I wonder what could have caused that to be streamed 133% more than the average episode.
I got a few guesses.
Looking at our audience breakdown, our listeners by age, 18 to 24 is 9%, 25 to 29 is 27%, 30 to 34 is 35%, 35 to 44 is 22%. 45 to 54 is 10%. And then 9% is in the age demo of 55 and up. And our listener ages 30 to 34 grew the most this year by 107%. So shout out to my age demographic. Old heads unite. Our show traveled the globe this year. We were streamed in 6 countries. The United States was our top country. And then other than our show, shows that our fans listen to.
Wait,
Number one.
wait. What other countries was we in? I got to be able to go home and tell my mom I'm global.
Did not show it on here, but I can pull it up in the back end.
Yeah, I gotta be able to tell my mom, like, hey, they over there listening to me in Mongolia.
I would assume Canada is definitely one of them.
They almost don't count. No, let me stop before I get us in trouble.
So other shows that our listeners listen to. Number 1 is the Joe Rogan Experience. Number 2, I know what age demo that probably is from. Number 2 is shout out to the boys at Part of My Take.
Okay.
Number 3, shout out to Biz and Wit and the Spit and Chicklets crew. Number 4, the Inside Lacrosse podcast. And number 5, a Spotify podcast, Conspiracy Theories.
Hey, whoever out there listening to them, my DM open, bro. We can talk all day.
Before we keep going, Steve brought this to my attention. I'm going to have to pester him about this. Apparently, someone he went to college with hosts a podcast that every week they bring on a guest and they discuss a conspiracy theory. I was like, I want to go on and discuss my manhole conspiracy theory. It's not real, but it's something that's funny to think. Like, I don't believe this at all, but I brought this up to you. It's like, where the hell do those giant mechanisms that look like Transformers, Autobots roll out? How do they get on the highways to do all that road work? That's because they come up through like the tubes like they have at the bank, and they come from the manholes.
Bro, when you told me that, bro.
Your brain was churning.
Blew me, bro, because I was like, ain't no way.
Music that our listeners listen to. The number 1 genre, Deej, rap. Number 2, indie. Number 3, soundtracks. God damn if our listeners don't listen to the same fucking music we both listen to. Audiobook genres. Number 1, self-help.
Oh.
Number 2, romance. And number 3, biography and memoir. And here's the fun part, Deej. I forget if I brought this up last week, but Spotify has been rolling out, I think I did, the video aspect of Spotify for podcasters and everything. 84% of our audience watched video on Spotify this year, so that's good information for us to say, okay, if you're watching stuff on Spotify, we might have to upload video there. Here we go, Deej.
I'm watching you, watching me, watch you watch stuff.
Here's our favorite part. The biggest fans keeping us at the top of our game. We were a top 10 podcast for 59 fans.
Talk to us nice.
We were a top 5 podcast for 32 fans.
Such a good ratio of that.
And we were the number 1 show for 3 fans.
Hey, got same amount as the main pod.
Your top fans listen to you 7.8 times more than other listeners. Shout out to the real ones. OTB Nation, truly out there. A salute to everyone. You guys make this possible. And here's the kind of creator we are, according to Spotify, Deej. We are the storyteller. And God damn it, aren't we?
That we are. We
Um,
can tell a damn good story.
we do need to get that podcast rating up on Spotify. So if you're a Spotify listener, leave us a 5-star review. We're a 4.4 on Spotify right now because people like to sabotage us. So leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. But shout out to all of you who listen on Spotify. Spotify Wrapped is one of our favorite times of the year. Send us your Spotify Wrapped, especially if you are in that top 10, top 5, top 1. We want to see where you rank. We know top 5 Hoots was in there for sure. But thank you for listening. Seeing Spotify Wrapped every year is one of those moments that is like, oh, this is why we do it. You know, people are actually listening. We're not just talking to ourselves for hours on end, and those are the only people listening. So shout out to everyone who listens on Spotify.
I do that.
Of course.
I do want y'all to know.
But there's other people listening to us do that, which is nuts.
No. That's what I mean. I talk to myself for hours on end when nobody else listening. This is just not when I do
maybe
this.
You were the number one genre of audiobook with self-help.
Hey, I was helping the people.
But shout out to everyone that listens on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. It really does mean a lot. And seeing that 84% of our listeners are watching on Spotify, that makes us more inclined to dive into, okay, what can we make happen on Spotify with video? But yeah, send us your Spotify Wraps, tag us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever. We'll share it for sure because we love seeing that shit. And it genuinely does make our year that much more elevated. So share us those Spotify Wraps. Do you, Jenny, final thoughts before we get ready to go to a wedding together for the first time?
Nah, man. I'm hyped for this, dude. This is my third wedding this year.
My third wedding this year. Real. This is my fourth. Fourth.
I'm not up there yet, okay? I'm not old enough for all of my friends to be getting married all the time, okay?
Enjoy it. Because it
Bro
hits
said,
you.
this is not fun.
It hits you like a fucking brick wall when they all come out at once. And like this year, at the end of last year, I had multiple weddings in 2023 as well. I was like, okay, I only have one wedding, and then another one popped up, and then another one popped up, and then this one pops up, and it's like, oh my God, can this please slow down? I am too broke to afford to celebrate all of these people. I'm too nice of a person. I need to stop having friends.
Yeah, I feel you on that stop having friends tip.
God damn.
I need to stop doing that.
It's crazy. But yeah, you will have live updates from Stephen McAvoy's wedding from us on the OTB channels. So follow us on the socials. Should we live tweet the wedding? I was just gonna say, oh my God, they just said I do. Yo, we gotta take a selfie together in the pew at the ceremony and be like, live from the McAvoy wedding. Follow along for updates. We have to do that. Oh my God, it's gonna be so funny.
And then we gotta make like a Sports Center type recap of it. So we can make a highlight montage.
Gotta bring the tiny mics. Reporting live.
He's gonna kick us out of his wedding.
Dude, we gotta make a graphic that's just like breaking news, just married. We get like a paparazzi-esque photo of him walking back down the aisle after the ceremony.
That would be way too good.
He doesn't know what he did by inviting us to this wedding.
He gonna
like
find
I'm
out.
honored as his boss of this company and all the shit that we do cross content wise, but he hasn't. In the words of Kylie Kelsey, and in the words of the funniest TikTok of all time, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna have to find out.
Facts. Facts. I just
Stephen
hope
McAvoy has officially fucked around, and on Sunday he will find out.
I just hope we're near an all-American cheeseburger. Because after that wedding, I'm gonna need me a quarter pounder.
I was informed that there are going to be mini cheesecakes at this wedding, so I am thrilled.
Okay, that's like the perfect size for me too. Because like cheesecake gets sweet, but when it's a mini one, it like you get like just before you hit that sweet wall, you're finished. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was fine.
So yes, wedding adventures with OTB are in full swing, coming to you this weekend. So follow along for updates. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
I'm telling you, this man.
It's just into the desk of OTB. Stephen McAvoy is married.
You heard that right, people. Married. He has tied the significant knot.
Oh, that's so funny. This is going to be absolutely chaotic. Can't wait. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials across the board at OTB Laxpod. Follow DJ at SCS_next great. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. Subscribe to the pod. Send us those Spotify Wraps. We want to see them all. Showcase them all. There's 59 of you that were in your top 10. 32 of you in your top 5. 3 of you. We want to see who the 3 are. Hear me out. The top 3. Send us who you are. We're going to hook you up in some type of way. For sure. I want to see who the top 3 are. But if we were your number 1 podcast this year, the 3 of you, DM us. We're gonna do some hooking up there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna get you right. We gotta show love.
Subscribe to the pod, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like on the video, drop a comment down below, drop us a voicemail this weekend during your favorite team's games. The Roughnecks play. Hey, our commenter, you better be calling in after that Roughnecks game.
You talking to me?
No, the one from YouTube last week that said he's going to call in after every game.
He did say that. You're right.
You're on the clock.
Right.
You're on the clock.
Hey, we watching.
Voicemail line's always open. Speakpipe.com/OTBLaxPod. Check out Shootout For Soldiers. Find out ways you can donate on their website, shootoutforsoldiers.com. It's linked in the description. They're truly the best. Find ways to donate this holiday season to some of the best people that are bringing together lacrosse community and our nation's veterans for an amazing cause. And Deej, next week we'll be talking NLL Week 2 recap. We'll get set for Week 3. My first game back at the Farg, covering the Wings in person on Saturday night. Very excited for that. And whatever other hell else pops up in the lacrosse world. Oh, I did want to bring this up, and I think it's a teaser. I don't know if they're just doing it because it's showcasing it, but did you see the WLL tweeted a Sixes All-Star Game highlight of Dana Dobie?
No, I didn't see that.
They tweeted Dana Dobie, and that just makes me think Dana Dobie might be playing year 1 of the WLL. Who knows? That may just be my conspiracy theories brain popping off, but I don't think you just do that for no reason, but we'll see how that shakes out. We should have WLL news before the end of the year, which is exciting. So we'll see how that shakes out. But this has been episode number 352 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. Also, subscribe to the newsletter. The Graffiti Wall newsletter is live. It's just my weekly newsletter breaking down sports media, how we're building Underground Sports Philadelphia, and a whole lot more. It's free to subscribe. It's linked in the description. Subscribe to the newsletter because this one coming up next week, by the time it's out, is all about how lacrosse formed our company's trajectory. So a lot of fun reads there. Subscribe to the newsletter. But this has been episode 352 of OTB. For Deej, we'll be in person pretty soon, and we will see you guys next week. Deej will be on the main pod on Monday as well, so definitely check that out. But enjoy the weekend of NLL action, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.